If I'm spiritually being led by my father, and my father tells me, Denzel, I need you to leave this 9 to 5 in order for you to do the work that I've actually called you to do, that has provided you comfort, a lifestyle, right? This is going to be case by case, but let's just say that was, my father is now overriding my logic and saying, nope, now's the time to leave, even though my financial coaching practice may only be netting, say, 6,000, right, in income per month net. So that would mean technically my cash flow is 0, right? So that would be really tight, right? But again, now you're being led in faith, and then maybe that very next month, you're now making double because you have just rerouted 40 to 50 hours of your time into your business. And now you're giving yourself that time to potentially make up for the difference, okay? So that would just be, these are just parameters, right? Everyone's going to be different. I'm just giving you mine. So leave the job after the business produces equal or more income, right? Where you can still net a decent amount of positive cash flow per month. And then the other thing I would have in place, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses also reduces the stress, giving you that runway to basically build that financial coaching practice that David Charles wants to have. All right. So parameters, 315, 13.5, startup costs. We sped it up 9 months. We're starting right out the gate. Now we have to figure out the business strategy here. What financial products, services are we going to provide in order for him to generate the type of income that we would need to basically write that check in 6 years or less? How do we run the math on that? So I'm going to give you a new set of parameters, and I'm going to delete this part right here. I'm going to keep my bottom line parameters. I'm just going to delete this. Okay, again, you can, go back, stop, and capture the notes there. We're going to move right along. All right, here's how I draw out my parameters. Put that 1,500 back. Let's say cost of living, right? These are the 4 major numbers in this example. Now, this is going to be some technical math here, so bear with me. Technical math. Now, what I'll do for David here is I'm going to use my current pricing. No, I'll use my early pricing when I first started my financial coaching practice. So I will break down what I was selling things for, and then how I increase those pricing and services and things like that. And we'll just run the math and see, okay, how many people do we need to serve to generate the income that we would need to be able to leave the 9 to 5. The first goal in using velocity banking to create cash flow by means of starting a business, first goal, as soon as humanly possible, I want to be able to generate enough income to be able to leave my 9 to 5. Because if I can generate close to, equal to, or more than my 9 to 5 net income part-time, right? Part-time, then full-time, that's going to give me the confidence to go ahead and quit that job, go full-time in the financial coaching practice, and get things rolling, get things moving, right? So we're going to run some numbers on my pricing from my first year in business versus now my 6th year in business. And this should give David, right, an example of how he should price his services according to the lifestyle, according to the goals that he's trying to accomplish, right? So when I first started, a 1-hour consultation was $97. I had an online financial course for $7 monthly or $70 annual. And then I had a full one-to-one financial coaching service for $997. So these are the prices just for financial coaching. Now, if David did what I did and maybe gets an insurance license and maybe sells some life insurance, some term, some whole life, maybe sells annuities, maybe disability insurance, other types of insurance products that could provide more commission, right? To give him another stream of income on top of the same client, right? Then that's going to reduce how many clients he would need to have to get to this, our first number, which is we want to get to $7,500 a month in income, right? How do we get there? Okay, so let's look at that. This is first year in business, sixth year, 6 years in, okay? Now I do $300 an hour. The online course is $50 monthly or $497 annual, $997 lifetime for the course. The full one-to-one service is now $3,997. And then I have a boot camp, which I'm starting for the first time in my 6th year. David could start in his first year, right? This is something I did not know in my first year. But now I'm doing a financial boot camp, which is a shorter period of time. It's a 9-week program, and it costs $2,000, so $1,997. So these are the prices 6 years in versus first year in. How many clients do we need to create $7,500 a month, right, in income? What would it take? What would be the breakdown here, right? So 7,500 divided by $97. I need to do 77.3 phone calls, right? So that's 77 hours divided by 4 weeks. So that's roughly 19.25 hours a week. If he's already pushing 40-hour weeks plus 19.25, he's working 60 hours a week, right? And if he's working 50 hours a week, he's working 70 hours a week. So that's going to require 50 to 70 hours additional, 59, I should say. And if David Charles is a married man, kids, then the risk here is we could lose our marriage. We could disconnect from our children. We'll have other people raise our children. And then the kids won't be so connected to dad, and then mom feels, pressure, right? So that is a risk. That's a spiritual, emotional, internal family risk for the sake of making more money. So we would have to be strategic here in terms of how many consults would he be doing at $97 a month, and then how do we potentially make up for getting people in the financial course at $7 a month, right? And then maybe taking people on a full service at $997, okay? So if we did like a bit of a split here to say, okay, let's say that David only has an extra 10 hours a week, 10 to 15, right? How would we break this down? So maybe we can do 5 to 7 consults or as high as 10 to 15. So I'll do 10 consults a week times $970 times 4 weeks will be $3,880. And let's say that before each consultation or after each consultation, he can enroll them into an upsell, right? Either an upsell or a downsell. So they pay $97, and it would basically, after he diagnosed, because the consultation is like going to the doctor for the first time. You're getting a diagnosis, you're getting a physical exam. When you go to financial coach for a consultation, you're getting a physical examination on your personal finances. So David would be diagnosing people every single week. And then he's going to give them a prescription and say, hey, you need to go through my financial course. I need you to go through these steps over the next 6 to 9 months. This is where you're going to focus on, right? And one time a month, we'll have one consultation, $97, and you pay the $7 a month. So now one client at $97 a month, let's say, on top of $7, just became a $104 client as opposed to $97. So it starts to increase based on the amount of time that we have here. We can be more strategic. So let's say out of 10 clients booking calls every single month, we have a guarantee, say $970 right there. And then let's say 5 upsell to the $997, 5 downsell to $7 a month, right? So let's map that out. That's $7 a month times 5. So we get another 35 bucks. And then 997 times 5 is 4,985. 970 plus 35 plus 4,985. It's 5,990. So either as high as 5,990 or 3,880, which is 10 clients every single week, right? Could be the same clients, right? People booking phone calls every week, right? Just depends. Every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, whatever it may be. Could be as high as 8,900. So what's happening, he is servicing 10 to 40 clients. Is that actually sustainable on a 10 to 15 hour work week? Probably not. And you need to have a phenomenal marketing strategy to even acquire that many clients, 10 to 40, okay? So his YouTube better be exploding just like Christy Van did or mine did. What's the likelihood of that? So there's a lot of risk here for that low pricing. Would not work for that situation. Now, you could make an argument though that you have to start somewhere. So that's key. So the numbers may not make sense right away. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you don't start this business, right? If you're being called spiritually, let me inject the faith again. If you're being called spiritually into this business and logically it makes sense and you have the skills, gifts, and talents to proceed and do this, great. Let's move forward. You still have your $7,500 a month coming in. So a good unique strategy to consider here would be any profit that this business generates, you simply stack and save. You don't spend it. You don't put it toward debt elimination. You're building up capital. Ideally, within 21 months or less on that 0% credit card right here that we ran, the 13.5 of startup capital, this business is going to have some monthly operating expenses, right? Through his, say, marketing technology right there alone, right? There might be some. So our cost of living may go up a little bit. So we also need to make sure that we can bring in at least enough money to cover the business costs, business expenses. That's where your seed capital would initially give you the runway for a couple months to get things going. And then your free cash flow, your $1,500 a month in free cash flow from your 9 to 5 is also helping fund the business until the business can fund itself, right? There's going to be that gap, that period that we need to fill. So again, a parameter that I would add here is to say any and all profits save, and all profits. Don't invest it in stock market, crypto, just save that money, because what's our intent? This is where you guys start doing this, right? Blah, blah.